Learning Target 12 says I can model and solve problems about real-life situations using sequences and sums. So in the first problem, Mrs. Runge is trying to pay off her student loans. Her first payment is $400. Then each month she pays $10 more than the previous month. The first thing that we're asked to do is to write a sum that represents the total amount that I pay over the course of 6 months. So we know that the first payment is $400. And then we know that each month I pay $10 more than the previous month. So the next month I'll pay $410. The next month I'll pay $420. The next month I'll pay $430. Then $440, all the way up to $450. In part B, it asks for the total amount of money that I pay in 6 months, and it says to use either Gauss's method or Euclid's method to find the sum. So let's just first start out by writing out our sum. Now, in this case, as we go from term to term, we're adding 10 each time. So this is an arithmetic sequence, and therefore we want to use Gauss's method. So in Gauss's method, we know we want to take each of the terms, and we want to rearrange them, rearrange the order from last term to first term. So we'll write 450 plus 440 plus 430 plus 420 plus 410 plus 400. And the next step in Gauss's method is to add on each side of the equation. So on the left-hand side we have s plus s, which makes 2s. On the right-hand side we know in Gauss's method that each of these pairs of numbers should add up to the same thing. So 400 plus 450 is 850. 410 plus 440 is 850. All of these end up adding up to 850. Now normally at this step we would do the last term minus the first term, divide by the common difference, and add 1 to find the number of terms, but in this case there's no plus dot dot dot. We know that there are exactly 6 of these 850s. So to find the value on the right hand side we just need to take 850 and multiply it by 6. So s is 850 multiplied by 6 and then divided by 2. And if we were to take out our calculator and actually calculate this, we would end up getting $2,550. So over the course of the first 6 months, I pay off $2,550. Now it might seem sort of weird that we're using Gauss's method to calculate a sum where it would actually be pretty easy to just add all the numbers up. But I just happened to choose an example where it would have been easy to actually just find the sum on your own. But in this case, I did ask you to use Gauss's method or Euclid's method for practice, so we should use Gauss or Euclid. So in the second problem, I am trying to pay off my student loans in a different, unusual way. The first month I pay $25, and after that, each month I pay 2 times as much as I paid the previous month. So part A asks us to write a sum that represents the total I pay after 6 months. So the first month I pay $25. Oops. The next month I need to pay 2 times as much as that, so I'll need to pay $50. The next month I pay 2 times as much as that, so $100, then $200, then $400, then $800. So in part B it asks to find the total that I pay over the course of 6 months, and to use either Gauss's method or Euclid's method to find the sum. So the first thing that we'll do is we will write out our sum. Now, in this case, we can tell that we have a geometric sequence, or geometric sum, because as we go from term to term, we keep multiplying by 2 each time. So we know that it's geometric, and therefore we know that we want to use Euclid's method. So in Euclid's method, the first thing that we do is we take our entire sum and multiply by the common ratio, or the number that we multiply by each time. we said we were multiplying by 2 each time, so we want to take the entire sum and multiply by 2. So on the left-hand side, s times 2 is 2s. On the right-hand side, 25 times 2 is 50, 50 times 2 is 100, and so on. We just keep multiplying each of these values by 2. Now the next step in Euclid's method is to subtract down. So on the left-hand side we have s minus 2s, which leaves negative s. On the right-hand side, a lot of our terms are going to cancel out. We have a 50 minus 50, 100 minus 100, 200 minus 200, 400 minus 400, and so on. And what we're left with is just the 25 minus the 1600. So we can simplify the right-hand side a bit. 25 minus 1600 is negative 1,575. So therefore the sum itself is 1,575. So over the course of 6 months, using this payment plan, I pay $1,575. So in these problems, you'll be given some sort of a real-life situation that somehow involves a sum that's either arithmetic or geometric. So you want to write out the sum that's described and then decide if it's arithmetic or geometric and use that to decide whether you should use Gauss's method or Euclid's method. And if you need any reminders on the specifics of Gauss's method or Euclid's method, you can always go back to the Learning Target 10 or Learning Target 11 videos.